initial response to the ice storm, as you know, was to cut anything. Just make any kind of cut you needed to in order to be able to get in and out of your property, or extract a fence row, or repair a gate, or do whatever. I mean, everybody just was getting chainsaws and making cuts. And some of those cuts were pretty horrific from my arborist standpoint. But everybody did what they had to do. A lot of those trees that were cut early on were ultimately removed because of the severity of the cuts that were required for access, transportation, electricity, and all that. But since then, in the cleanup process, we've had people top trees, which as a university we don't recommend, but at the same token, this is kind of a bad situation. Because of the damage, we're not any longer in control of where we make cuts. If a branch is split, and a lot of them are from the bending over, that whole branch may need to be removed, or it has to be removed back to a point where we end up with a topping cut. So our standard recommendation would be to cut back to, in smaller plants, a bud or a branch, or to the main trunk, something that will support the wood that's left. Near as we can tell, those that have, like I said, more than 50% of a canopy remaining, if we made those cuts very carefully and left any existing material that was standing up and was still intact there, they have a pretty good appearance as the leaves start to come out. Now, all of them are very small now, and so we're still seeing the wood of the interior. But I do believe it will be acceptable for those who didn't jump right in and took a moment to look at the plants, evaluate the plants, get an arborist up in the plants and make the necessary cuts, but keep them to a minimum. Remove those hangers, only cut back to clean up an area where a lot of long damage and breakage occurred. Those plants look like they're going to be okay. They'll have some open areas that they hadn't anticipated. So where they have shade gardens, they may now have full sun gardens and may need to move some plants around within the landscape in order to accommodate that. And that same issue of planting, replanting, I think everybody's going to be pretty aggressive on that, especially institutional sites like we are here. We did have significant losses. We lost like 15 of our heritage birches that we planted in 1981. We lost our whole tree line of our entry road, which was 80-some plants. All told, though, the really large plants, whether it's an oak, a maple, a hackberry, it doesn't really seem to matter. All species were affected in the large tree category. All of them sustained some damage, some more than others. And ultimately, in the long term, I believe that'll cause us some decline in those plants. If we keep them and make these large cuts, we can expect that the life will be shortened, and we should keep in mind that replanting process, that to do that as quickly as possible in order to have a plant to replace it with in the future.